Okay, this game I will get in a lane where I do not get deleted. But I really wanted to go side lane to farm as usual later. Whatever, I'll get there when the laning phase ends. Again? We're not aggressing again? Whatever, I'll just go get the boxes and everything and whatever, and I'll get enough souls and then we can fight them. Now we also get the rest of their team to gank? Whatever, man, I'll just go jungle. Their carry is already at 2 times my net worth. What am I even supposed to do? I'll just get the sinners as always. Are we really going to lose this Erm too? Why aren't the lanes shoved? We should split push at this point in the game. If I had just farmed more like I usually do when I win, maybe then I could play this game. What a terrible game. It's time to go next, and I hope I don't get the usual bad teammates I always have. Every time we queue up for a new Deadlock game, we try to limit the chaos in our games and try to repeat our gameplay every single time. Same builds, same paths, same timings, same game plan. Likewise, the enemy team will have somewhat the same idea. The statement I'm pushing with this video is that the best way to play your next game is different from any game you've played so far. Countless videos have already been made about winning lanes, optimizing box routes, stealing the enemy jungle, fight from the right position, but the reality is that you need to play Deadlock to learn how to play Deadlock. The learning process of any game requires you to focus on a single factor at any point and ignore the rest until you learn that specific factor and then you go for another one. While this approach can work for some individuals, it does not work for me. So it's my duty to introduce you to the concept of chaos.
It's total chaos out there.
The theory is simple. Your usual idea of playing the game is not wrong. Matter of fact, it could be the optimal way to play the game if we were to discuss it as sort of a base level against bots or in a very ideal scenario. Here is the catch. Your enemies will also try to play in the same predictable but optimal manner. But chaos is a theoretical concept. We're gonna use examples right now to find out multiple ways in which you can induct chaos in the enemy's gameplay. This works for solo queue, it works pretty decently also in scrims and in organized gameplay, but when you're playing pubs, if you're able to disrupt the organization in the enemy team's mind, whatever their rank or whatever their gameplay idea is, you will win. A team who is lost in their macro and that makes bad choices, no matter how rich they are, will lose. So let's start from the laning phase and then we'll get into the mid game. Our first lane example. Let's say you see the enemy pocket uses his cape to clear wave consistently. His optimal idea to play lane revolves around that first cooldown. Destroy his pattern. Either be ready to punish him right after cape, make him use cape earlier and force him to clear wave in a way that he doesn't like or at a distance that he doesn't like, or upgrade your cooldown so that you're stronger below your tower. So if he pushes wave very hard and he aggresses a bit too much, you can actually punish him. Again in lane, if you're used to staying on the same angle as your teammate and they keep spamming cooldowns at you, look for an off angle. An Infernus may want to consistently appear at weird timings in weird spots to get those 5-3 headshots he needs for an afterburn. If you're against that Infernus and his gameplay revolves around off angles, well, just position or buy to be able to jump him or his teammate as soon as he does get on an off angle. You may realize how hard it is to give absolutes about how to play, but let's try to understand why it's generally good, for example, to push waves fast and get souls from boxes if you're unable to outtrade your opponents. Pushing a wave reduces the amount of space your opponents have, meaning their gameplay and positioning becomes predictable. A predictable gameplay is punishable. Would they have to stay in the shop? Just off-angle with cover and spam your cooldowns at them. Or maybe shoot their tower if their kit makes them a bit too hard to kill. Some characters, instead, become good at playing after a bit of minutes have passed. A good player may exploit this by trying to engage in fights against you as much as possible before you get to that point. And of course, the opposite applies. If you're the player who needs to get to that point, well, just be able to clear wave fast enough that they cannot push tower for free, and then get as fast as possible to your boxes so that you can outsole your opponents or get to the point where you can actually challenge them and trade with them. Whenever Michaelas or Zergi got asked about ways to improve while they're streaming, they always kind of tend to answer to just play the game.
Play the game, Harding.
This can be a complete truth, but I disagree with the fact that most players at any level are still capable of actually playing the game. They tend to repeat the same idea over the span of multiple games, hoping it will get better, more efficient, or work better.
What the definition of insanity is.
And my first advice, if you feel like what I said can help you winning more lanes, is to get the concept I've already told you and get into some games and focus on this specific concept. Just playing will not help you to get better if you're not trying to change anything while you're playing. But let's get to the meat of the discussion. What I call the Zergilistic dilemma. If you do not know the players, they are English-speaking Deadlock pro players and streamers, and their social are in the description. They're amazing to watch, very entertaining, and you can learn a lot just by watching how they play the game. Zergi is often pictured as a perfectly efficient and mechanically very solid hyper carry. Basically a player able to optimally rotate between his lane and all the resources available, to get a higher soul count faster than others and then shine in the later part of the game. Listic is instead often seen on strong mid-game duelists and fight initiators. In all the games I've played with him, I've had difficulty not taking and winning every mid-game fight he started or called. So what is it? What makes them better than the average Eternus player? Which of the two gameplays should I follow to get better? Should I fight or should I farm? The reason why Zergi can create an anomaly on the map by farming is that he can outsole the rest of the map more efficiently than the majority of Deadlock players. His speed when doing actions makes the idea of catching him a failed operation more often than not. His higher than normal soul count at any point in the map will automatically generate a disproportionate amount of resource allocation in your team, or more simply put, chaos for the team against Zergi. Listic, instead, relies on a more direct approach. He finds you when you don't expect him to. He finds you in your jungle. He finds you farming a lane. He finds you gambling your life savings on a senior sacrifice. He directly attacks and destroys your order of playing the game and gets so much value from it and removes so much from you that it's basically impossible to stay relevant in a game against him. Now I will add another factor which is instead common between the two: waves management. The position of your lanes determines how quickly you can reach any point in the map, and how slowly the enemies can. A wave crushing under your walker means that your usual plan of farming your jungle becomes easily punishable by an enemy hooligan. Likewise, shoving a wave deeply into enemy territory makes their jungle into your hunting ground, or resource bag. Of course, this depends on the character you're playing and whether those souls are more efficient at making you win the game, whether you can create chaos by pulling enemies to the jungle if they're taking even care of it. But the reality is that a lot of times the very high value idea of let's take this 400 souls camp doesn't really help with the actual flow of a game because the enemies don't react fast enough. Instead, if you can keep the wave shoved and the enemies want to get the jungle, well, there you have a free fight which can create a lot of chaos. Again, I don't dismantle any of the two choices. I still want you to think about which option brings the most chaos, and I still want you to understand that shoving the wave was the thing that initiated it. Almost ending today's video, let's analyze the concept of objectives and resources with chaos in mind, such as walkers or the urn. Taking inspiration from the Zergi's part of the dilemma, being very strong is by itself a chaos-inducing mechanic. So the objective souls increase and slots that you get, if you of course already have all the slots filled, can be a good motivation to rush to the push or trade a walker or a tower in some cases. Taking inspiration from Listics instead, pushing an objective while the enemy are trying to not fight you because they like ults, they need to farm, or because maybe they need to get the urn, can make for a tremendously strong motive to make the enemy team stop doing what they're currently doing, again inducing chaos. Now the hard part. If your choice is expectable, then the response will be commensurate, if not greater than what you can offer. At the end, wiping your team while you push an objective badly will lead to a complete reset of all the chaos you've generated until now. Sometimes, not pushing an expected walker or taking map resources could be the only right play, like when nobody of the enemy team is showing and just waiting to defend a push. that will, if you make the right choice, never come. You can take their jungle, you can take buffs, earn, and so much more. Even force mid-boss and make the sound so you can fight them while they run at you. And I cannot say chaos anymore because I think my chaos counter ran out. So I'm done with that word for today. As a bonus for my absence from YouTube, I'll also give you some ideas to counter a lost game scenario. If you end up losing most lanes, the enemy team will expect you to be hiding in the farm for a decent amount of time or trying to push lanes below walkers. Maybe sometimes they want to shove because you cannot really contest. Instead of giving them an even spread of players, you may decide to give up the left or right side of the map. The one with the least jungle is usually the one you give up. And focus an abnormal amount of players on an enemy's overextension or even their farm. Now to a very important point. Why did I not make other videos after the 3 I published? Which, wow, the support was insane. Writing these scripts requires a high amount of understanding of the game. Understanding which is not easy to grasp, especially for me. So I tried out what I suggested for games and games until I started playing in only the highest elo lobbies. Deadlock has many more hard to tackle concepts that not all players may be interested in. And even though I'll start making videos again, I'll try to alternate between complex concepts and easier to digest, entertaining videos. The idea is that a video like this one and all the theory behind it needs so much proofreading and so much testing to be true to itself. And I don't get quality enough matchmaking to do it in a single day or even a single week. My schedule currently makes streaming a bit hard to do, but I'll let you guys know if I end up doing some live VOD reviews or game analysis in the future through the community section. Thank you a lot for all the support until now and all the comments. You make me so happy. It's actually insane. At last, I want to thank all the people who helped me put together the theory of this video. Some of them don't even know, I just asked them questions and now they're here. But I want to thank AVG from NA, Vital, insane friend and insane coach, Saint from Europe, insane analytic by himself, and other people who also helped me here and there with like ideas and concepts that we pushed back and forward. And I have to thank all of them for making this possible to put this together. It was a pleasure, and see you in the next video. Bye bye.
Leave me alone!